Hello and a very warm welcome to Rajya Sabha television. You're watching the news tonight with me, Frank Rausen Pereira. Here are the headlines. The Prevention of Corruption Amendment Bill 2013 moved for consideration and passing in the Rajya Sabha. Disruptions prevent discussion. 12 newly elected and re-elected members take oath. Proceedings stalled in both houses for the 20th working day. Thirteen opposition parties, including Congress, demand discussion on the SC/ST Act, the CBSE paper leak case and the PNB fraud issue. Hold meetings with the Rajya Sabha chairperson, Lok Sabha Speaker say that they are ready for an extended session in order to pass legislation. Prime Minister Narendra Modi accuses opposition parties of politicizing the legacy of B.R. Ambedkar, says no predecessor has honoured the Dalit icon as his government has done. Supreme Court seeks centre's response on Election Commission's affidavit to allow a candidate to contest only seat. Panel submits that candidates contesting 2 or more seats impose burden on public exchequer. And colourful start to the Commonwealth Games in the Gold Coast, Australia. PV Sindhu leads Indian contingent, 6,000 supporters or rather sportspersons from 71 countries to compete in the Games that will continue till April 15th.
I had the pleasure of being in Delhi 8 years ago there, but it just got better as it went on.
Languished by repeated disruptions in the Rajya Sabha, Chairman Venkaiah Naidu on Wednesday said the patience of the country is being tested. He also said democracy is being murdered due to the relentless disruptions which are preventing the House from transacting any business. Here's more.
After the newly elected or re-elected members were administered oath, disruptions by opposition members once again stalled proceedings in the Rajya Sabha. Members of the TDP, AIADMK, DMK, Congress, BSP, SP, RJD and the TMC moved into the well of the House. Chairman Naidu made appeal to members to restore order in the House and noted that just 2 days were left before the session ended on Friday.
Tomorrow is almost the last day because day of tomorrow the House is going to get adjourned. We have not transacted any business including important bills. Number of bills are pending before the House. The country wants development, the country wants registration, people want registration. Handful of people obstructing the House, taking up their own agenda is not going to solve any problems. It will not add Shobha nahi dete. It is not going to add anything to the value of the House. I request each one of you, please go back to the seats, discuss the issues. You are testing the patience of the people of the country. This is no good. This is no good. This is not acceptable. This is not democracy. This is stifling democracy. This is in fact murdering democracy.
Minister of State for Parliamentary Affairs, Vijay Goyal, also urged the members to allow the House to function. He hit out at the Congress for spreading misinformation against the government on the SC/ST issue.
अपनी सीट के ऊपर जाएं और ये जो दलित विरोधी की बात हो रही है, ये दलित विरोधी 50 साल से कांग्रेस की सरकार रही है. कांग्रेस की सरकार के अंदर जितने दलितों के ऊपर अत्याचार हुए और हम चाहते हैं सदन में चर्चा हो.
When the protesting members refused to relent and with no visible respite in sight, the chairman adjourned the House till 2 p.m.
You don't want anything. House is adjourned to meet at 2 p.m. today afternoon.
Priti Mishra, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, the Prevention of Corruption Amendment Bill of 2013 was moved in the Rajya Sabha on Wednesday. However, the United Opposition scuttled the passage of the bill and disrupted the proceedings of the House, leading to several adjournments. The government slammed the opposition for obstructing its anti-corruption crusade.
Minister of State for Personnel, Public Grievances and Pensions, Jitendra Singh moved the Prevention of Corruption Amendment Bill 2013 in the Rajya Sabha amid protest by the opposition members.
Of the nation, and therefore the bill may be taken up and passed.
The Deputy Chairman urged the opposition members to allow the House to function to avert complete derailment of the legislative agenda.
Sir, please, the bill to be passed.
Are you insisting on your division, or are you insisting on your division demand?
Deputy Chairman, sir, this is the sense of the House, this is the sense of the nation. Let the bill be passed.
Are you insisting on that?
I am insisting for division.
How can I take division in this position?
I ask for division.
How can I take division now?
Then you advocate.
Several union ministers also made appeals to allow the bill to pass.
They can make the choice very clearly. They can say yes or no. What it is, this RSTV is going. And what more means, sir? Already you have petition for consideration. And we are I request you to take the consideration further.
Chairman, sir, this is not only the sense of the House but the sense of the nation. And therefore the bill may be taken up and passed. Deputy Chairman, sir, the bill has gone through the standing committee, it's gone to the select committee, time and again it has been discussed over the last 4 years.
Every member, even a new member, is as good as a member as the old member. If there is no division, he can also sign his voting on a slip of paper. Government is keen for a debate for the last so many days. No debate is allowed to happen. No problem. No is important. No. For the sake of finding out.
Deputy Chairman was even ready to take up division as pressed by the opposition, but voting on the bill could not be initiated for lack of order in the House. When opposition parties refused to relent, Deputy Chairman adjourned the House till Thursday.
House is adjourned till 11 hours.
Kriti Mishra, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, the Prevention of Corruption Amendment Bill seeks to address corruption in public functionaries. It has been pending in Parliament since 2013. Let's take a look at some of the salient features of the bill.
The Prevention of Corruption Amendment Bill 2013 amends the Anti-Corruption Act of 1988. It classifies corruption as a heinous crime and lays down longer prison terms for both the bribe giver and the bribe taker. The proposed amendment also ensures speedy trial limited to 2 years for corruption cases. It also seeks to increase punishment from the minimum 6 months to 3 years and from the maximum 5 years to 7 years. According to the Prevention of Corruption Amendment Bill 2013, a public servant takes a bribe if he asks, expects, accepts or attempts to obtain any gains in exchange for the improper performance of a public activity on his own. The existing law protects the bribe giver if he gives a statement in the court of giving bribe. The new bill removes this protection. It changes the definition of criminal misconduct to include fraudulent misappropriation of property entrusted to him. Habitual offenders are now defined as a convicted public servant who has subsequently committed an offence. For such persons, punishment has been enhanced. The bill empowers the investigating police officer to confiscate property of a public servant accused of an offence. In order to do this, approval from a special judge with prior government approval will be required. The bill also proposes to extend the protection of prior sanction for prosecution to public servants who cease to hold office after retirement or resignation. On November 27, 2015, the Union Cabinet approved further amendments to the bill. It recommended prior sanction from the Lokpal or Lokayukt must be obtained before investigating a public servant. The bill was then referred to a select committee of Rajya Sabha on the 11th of December 2015. The select committee presented its report to the Rajya Sabha on the 12th of August 2016. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, 12 newly elected or re-elected members from 5 different states took oath in the Rajya Sabha on Wednesday. India's rich linguistic heritage was on display as members took oath in different languages.
Oath or affirmation?
Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu administered oath to the 12 newly elected or re-elected members in the Rajya Sabha on Wednesday. BJP's Bhupendra Yadav, Kirodi Lal Meena, Madan Lal Saini, Telangana Rashtriya Samiti MPs Prakash Banda and Joginapalli Santosh Kumar, Lingamaya Yadav, Congress's GC Chandrasekhar, L. Hanumantaya from Karnataka, BJD MPs from Odisha Prashantananda, Achyutananda Samanta, Soumya Ranjan Patnaik and SPs Jay Bachchan took oath. 41 of the 58 members elected or re-elected to the upper house in elections last month had taken oath on Tuesday. Priti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha Television. Well, Rajya Sabha member Kehkashan Parveen was included in the panel of vice chairmen of the house. The new panel, effective from 3rd April, comprises Dr. Satyanarayan and Chatya, Tiruchi Siva, T.K. Rangarajan, Bhuvneshwara Kalita, Sukhendu Shekhar Roy and Kehkashan Parveen. The decision to appoint Kehkashan Parveen to the panel was taken by Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu on Women's Day.
I rise to lay the 22nd report of the Standing Committee on...
Well, Lok Sabha proceedings were washed out for the day yet again. Speaker Sumitra Mahajan suspended the question hour within minutes after the House resumed as MPs raised slogans and displayed placards demanding formation of the Kaveri Water Management Board. The House reconvened at noon. Several ministers laid papers on the table amid protests, but the proceedings could not continue further and the House was adjourned for the day. The leaders of over a dozen opposition parties on Wednesday met Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu and Lok Sabha Speaker Sumitra Mahajan to demand a discussion on key issues of national importance. Opposition leaders from the Congress, BSP, SP, DMK, NCP, TMC and the left parties met to discuss the stalemate in both houses. The opposition leaders put forth their demand for a discussion on issues like the SC/ST Act, the CBSE paper leak and the PNB bank fraud. The Congress has also suggested extending the session by a day or two.
देश का 1/4 हिस्सा अगर इस कानून को डाइल्यूट करने से प्रभावित हुआ है तो जो कानून बनाने वाले लोग हैं, विपक्ष हैं, क्या वो मुंह बंद करके बैठ जाएंगे? सरकार ये मुद्दे पे आज कल ये डिस्कशन करे, हमें कोई आपत्ति नहीं। सरकार 2 दिन और सदन बढ़ा दे और कानून बिल पास कर दे, हमें कोई आपत्ति नहीं। लेकिन ये देश के जो मुद्दे हैं ये उठाए।
The NDA MPs have decided that they will not take their salaries and emoluments for 23 days of the budget session. Parliamentary Affairs Minister Anant Kumar said that the decision to forego their salaries was taken as no business has been conducted in the Parliament for the past 23 days due to opposition protests.
प्रमुख विपक्ष के नाते दोनों सदनों में कांग्रेस पार्टी सबसे बड़ा पंचायत में जनहित के कामकाज करने के बजाय, विधायी कामकाज करने के बजाय और देश का कई गंभीर मामलों के बारे में चर्चा करने के बजाय हाउस को रोक के रखने का काम किया है। उनके साथ कई विपक्ष भी साथ दिए हैं। ये सारे विषयों को मद्देनजर रखते हुए भारतीय जनता पार्टी और एनडीए के सभी सांसदों ने तय किया है, यानी ये 23 दिन का वेतन और भत्ता हम नहीं लेंगे।
Well, in the meeting chaired by Prime Minister Modi, the Union Cabinet has also given its approval to the Protection of Human Rights Amendments Bill of 2018 for better protection and promotion of human rights in the country. The bill proposes to include National Commission for Protection of Child Rights as a deemed member of the Commission. It also proposes to add a woman member in the composition of the Commission. The bill proposes to incorporate a mechanism to look after the cases of human rights violation in the Union territories. The Cabinet also gave its approval for right-sizing the Competition Commission of India from 1 chairperson and 6 members to 1 chairperson and 3 members to not filing the vacancies expected in September. The proposal is in line with the government's objective of minimum government, maximum governance. Well, in other news now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said no government has ever honoured Ambedkar as much as his government. He said the NDA government is following the path set by the Dalit icon. Prime Minister Modi also lamented the fact that political parties are playing politics in the name of Ambedkar. Prime Minister Narendra Modi said his government is walking on the path shown by Bhimram Ambedkar to work for the poorest of the poor. Speaking at the inauguration of the new building of Western Court Annexy in New Delhi, the Prime Minister hit out at political parties for politicizing the legacy of the Dalit icon. He said no regime has honoured Ambedkar like his government has.
बाबा साहब अम्बेडकर को शायद किसी सरकार ने इतना मान सम्मान और श्रद्धांजलि नहीं दी होगी जो इस सरकार ने दी है, और इसलिए बाबा साहब को राजनीति में घसीटने के बजाय बाबा साहब अम्बेडकर ने हमें जो रास्ते दिखाए हैं उस रास्ते पर चलने के लिए हम सब अगर प्रयास करेंगे, जिसके अंदर बंधुता इसका महात्मा है, उस बंधुता को छोड़ करके हम कभी आगे नहीं बढ़ सकते हैं.
Lok Sabha Speaker Sumitra Mahajan told the gathering that the Western Court Annexy building with 88 rooms had been completed 6 months ahead of the deadline. The building has facilities for energy conservation, rainwater harvesting and is accessible for the specially abled.
नॉर्थ एवेन्यू में भी हम निर्माण कर रहे हैं. अब हमारे पास इतने आवास उपलब्ध रह जाएंगे कि आए हुए नए सांसदों को हमारी ये कल्पना है कि अब हमें होटल में नहीं रुकवाना पड़ेगा, हम यहाँ उनको व्यवस्था कर सकते हैं.
The Prime Minister also announced that 26 Alipur Road house where Ambedkar passed away would be dedicated to the nation on April 13th on the eve of his birth anniversary. Ravindra Singh Sharon's report for Rajya Sabha Television. Well, Union Minister of State for Social Justice and Empowerment Ramdas Atawale appealed to the Dalit community to maintain peace. He said the centre was committed to protecting their rights. Speaking to Rajya Sabha Television, he also said the government may bring in an ordinance.
Maoist Social Justice and Empowerment, Mr. Ramdas Atawale. Sir, the opposition is constantly trying to up the ante against the government on the SC/ST issue, despite the fact that review petition has already been filed in the Supreme Court.
Now, the opposition is also playing the game because already the government has submitted the review petition in the Supreme Court, and after the 10 days the judgment will come. But the opposition is also trying to give the allegation that Narendra Modi is Dalit Virodi. That is not a good thing because already government has taken the decision, and the government is also supporting the SC/ST Act. Yesterday, Rajnath Singh also announced in the Lok Sabha that we are also fully with the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe, and they are also fully supporting SC/ST Act. If there is any problem, then government will think about the ordinance also. But now the Supreme Court will give the judgment after 10 days. Therefore, BJP is not Dalit Virodi. That is our stand.
The opposition is accusing the government of adopting a lax approach, that it did not pursue the case in the Supreme Court the manner in which it should have.
No, manner means as per the procedure, because 10 days before the judgment came on 20th, then 4 or 5 days the holidays were there, and already on the same day I talked with Amit Shah also, and Amit Shah and Arun Jaitley, and Amit Shah suggested to the Ravi Shankar Prasad, take immediately the copy of that judgment, and we want to go for the review petition in the Supreme Court. That was the stand of the government. Therefore, government has not taken more time, and therefore Congress is always alleging something, but that is not a good thing.
Well, the Election Commission today supported a petition filed in the Supreme Court seeking restraint on candidates from contesting from more than one seat. The Commission also said contesting from 2 seats and then opting out of the other later is unfair to the voters. The Election Commission has filed an affidavit in the Supreme Court requesting that candidates should be barred from contesting more than one seat. The move comes a few months after an advocate filed a petition with the same request. The Commission said letting a candidate contest from 2 seats is an unnecessary burden on the public exchequer and an injustice to voters of winning candidates who vacate that constituency in favour of another seat.
1990 में गोस्वामी कमेटी ने कहा था कि एक व्यक्ति को 2 जगह चुनाव नहीं लड़ने की अनुमति मिलनी चाहिए. उसके बाद 1999 में वेंकटचलिया कमीशन ने यही बात कही. उसके बाद ला कमीशन ने यही बात कही, और अभी जो लेटेस्ट ला कमीशन है 2015 में आया, उसने भी यही कहा है कि हाँ 2 जगह चुनाव की अनुमति नहीं मिलनी चाहिए. तो मुझे आशा है कि जिस तरीके से इलेक्शन कमीशन ने हमारी याचिका का समर्थन किया है, केंद्र सरकार भी हमारी याचिका का समर्थन करेगी।
The centre has sought time to file its reply, after which the hearing was adjourned till July. Upadhyay's petition sought to amend Section 33(7) of the Representation of the People Act that allows a candidate to contest the Lok Sabha or Assembly election from two constituencies simultaneously. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television. Well, the Supreme Court today dismissed 5 petitions challenging the CBSE's decision to conduct a re-examination of the Class 12 economics paper after an alleged leak. The top court said that it is the prerogative of the Central Board of Secondary Education to conduct the re-examination and can't be challenged in court. Several petitions were filed before the apex court after the CBSE disclosed on March 28th that the Class 10 Maths and Class 12 economics paper had been leaked. The CBSE, however, later said it found no evidence of the alleged paper leak of Class 10 Maths paper. Meanwhile, the government set up a high-powered committee to examine the process by which the CBSE conducts examinations. School Education Secretary in the HRD Ministry, Anil Swarup, tweeted that the panel will suggest measures to make the process secure and foolproof through use of technology. The committee will submit a report by the 31st of May. Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister N. Chandrababu Naidu on Wednesday met his Delhi counterpart Arvind Kejriwal in an effort to mobilize support for the no-confidence motion moved by his party TDP against the centre. The two leaders also discussed the special category status promised to the southern state. According to TDP, Kejriwal said that he would offer support to the TDP through members from his party in both houses of parliament. Delhi's ruling party AAP has 4 MPs in the Lok Sabha and 3 in the Rajya Sabha. The TDP president is expected to meet Shiromani Akali Dal chief Sukhbir Singh Badal. Naidu has met leaders from different political parties to further his cause, including the Congress's Veerappa Moily, NCP President Sharad Pawar and Harsimrat Kaur Badal of the Shiromani Akali Dal. Well, moving on to other news, now 5 Maoists were killed in an encounter with the security forces in the Serendag jungles of Jharkhand's Latehar district on Wednesday. Following a tip-off that a group of Maoists had assembled in the jungle, a joint team of the district police and the CRPF cordoned the area around midnight. The extremists were asked to surrender, but they opened fire on security personnel, forcing the joint team to retaliate. Bodies of 5 Maoists were recovered from the spot, 2 of whom were identified. 5 rifles were also found at the spot. A massive search operation has been launched in areas around Latehar, Maneka and Harehunj. Well, Defence Minister Nirmala Sitharaman on Wednesday discussed defence cooperation with her Russian counterpart General Sergei Shoigu. Sitharaman is on a 3-day visit to Russia to attend the 7th Moscow Conference on International Security. This is her first visit to Russia in her capacity as a defence minister. Earlier, she met Russia's Minister of Industry and Trade Denis Manturdov and discussed ways to strengthen defence production cooperation between the two countries. The discussion also focused on enhancing defence production cooperation and creating synergy between the defence industries of the two nations. Well, with an eye on Chinese presence in the Indo-Pacific region, India, Japan and the United States have decided to strengthen their cooperation in maritime security. A decision to this effect was taken on Wednesday in New Delhi at a meeting of joint secretary-level officials of the 3 countries. The meeting focused on implementing the understanding reached among the foreign ministers that was held in New York on the 18th of September 2017. The 3 countries decided to cooperate in areas like connectivity and infrastructure development, counter-proliferation, counter-terrorism, maritime security, maritime domain awareness and humanitarian assistance and disaster relief. Well, India is likely to witness a normal southwest monsoon with 0% chance of a drought according to weather forecasting agency Stalemate. Stalemate said on Wednesday that India is likely to witness normal annual monsoon rains at 100% of the long period average. However, the southern peninsula and major portions of northeast India are likely to witness below normal rainfall this season. As per the forecast, June would record excess rainfall, July is likely to be normal and August might be below normal. Rainfall activity is likely to pick up again in September. Stalemate said there is only 20% chance of above normal monsoon rains 20% chance of below normal monsoon rains and 0% chance of a drought. Well, a woman opened fire at YouTube headquarters near San Francisco on Tuesday, wounding 3 people before shooting herself dead. All this because she believed she was being suppressed by YouTube. The woman approached an outdoor patio and dining courtyard on the campus around lunchtime and began to fire before entering the building. Police has not identified the suspect or conclude what might have motivated Tuesday's shooting. However, the accused has expressed in her videos that she hates the tech giant company and accuses YouTube of discriminating against her. Local media citing unnamed sources identified the woman as Naseem Agdam.
We transported 4 people to the hospital. One of those that were transported had a non-gunshot related injury, so they were fleeing from the scene, and I believe they twisted or broke their ankle, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know that for a fact, but there were 3 gunshot injuries that were transported to the hospital, in addition to our suspect, who we believe suffered from a self-inflicted shot.
The 21st Commonwealth Games kick-started in Australia's Gold Coast after a spectacular opening ceremony. The Games were officially declared open by UK's Prince Charles. More than 6,000 athletes from 71 nations and territories will compete for 275 gold medals. The Games will continue for 12 days in Australia, with para-athletes also included in the same schedule.
Nations, here comes India.
A team of 220 representing India.
The Indian contingent, led by the flag-bearer shuttler PV Sindhu, received a warm reception from the nearly 25,000-strong crowd. India has sent a 227-member contingent for the Games.
And now, please welcome to the Gold Coast their Royal Highnesses, the Prince of Wales, joined by the Duchess of Cornwall.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi extended his best wishes to the Indian contingent for the Gold Coast Commonwealth Games, saying the whole country is behind the athletes. Well, that's it on this newscast. Good night.